If you were to Google Joseph W. Kinninger, you would read about a man who broke the world's record by skydiving out of a hot air balloon 19 miles up. He was inducted into the International Space Hall of Fame in 1989. What you won't find is that he is my great uncle or first cousin twice removed, something like that. My grandfather, Frank C. Kinninger, didn't take the same path as Joseph. My grandfather was a preacher. He died actually 2 years before I was born. His life, though, still speaks to me. Somewhere along the way, my mom played a tape of my grandfather's radio broadcast. Now, never forget how he closed out his time on the radio. He would say, "If you need a healing, you come down to the church," don't remember the name, "be prayed for, and God will heal you. He spoke with such confidence that I believe people would go there and get healed. He believed something, so he did something. He lived out James's message in chapter 2. James gives two examples of this in verses 21 through 26. He says, "Don't you remember that our ancestor Abraham was shown to be right with God by his actions when he offered his son Isaac on the altar? You see, his faith and his actions worked together. His actions made his faith complete. And so it happened just as the scriptures say. Abraham believed God, and God counted him as righteous because of his faith. He was even called the friend of God." So you see, we are shown to be right with God by what we do, not by faith alone. Rahab, the prostitute, is another example. She was shown to be right with God by her actions when she hid those messengers and sent them safely away by a different road. Just as the body is dead without breath, so also faith is dead without good works. James chose two people at complete opposite ends of the spectrum, Abraham and Rahab, a man and a woman. Men were the lead, women followed. Abraham was rich. Rahab had to sell herself for a living. Abraham would have been admired. Rahab was forgotten. But they both believed something. Abraham believed God would raise his son from the dead, and Rahab believed God was still all-powerful and on the side of the Jews. So both believed something and did something. Abraham offered the greatest thing God had given him, and Rahab gave hospitality. James is showing us that believe in one thing, God, will result in doing things different. Whatever God has you doing, it's the life of faith. And here's the big thing. When you believe in God and you do something, your faith will outlive you. Your acts of faith, like my grandfather's, will speak long after you are dead. So let's calibrate this week by asking the Lord to help you build a life of faith that produces good works. Then declare your trust in Him to allow your faith to speak long after you are gone. So remember, don't just take life as it comes, calibrate and shape it as you go. Thank you for following Calibrate. Share it with someone you know. Take a moment and review us and give us a good rating on iTunes, Google Play, Facebook, or YouTube.